morning, students. I am Professor N.K. Ornagowda. So I am taking the class regarding Module 1, which is related to instruction as well as introductions to the embedded system, microcontroller and embedded systems. So at the first we are able to discuss about what is microcontroller, how we can utilize these tools in the embedded systems. These are the most important highlights. Before that, we are compare the instructions. There are two types of instructions. The following point differentiate CISC from a RISC. So CISC means complex instruction set computer and RISC means reduced instruction set computer. There are two types of instruction sets are there. We can compare one into another, then we are able to recognize which one is flexible and which one is easier for the customers. So RISC and CISC were compared. The CISC usually contains a large set of instructions, but in RISC contains the reduced instruction set, smaller set of instructions. Then in CISC it is very difficult to program, but it is in RISC simpler design of compiler. Then considering larger set of instruction, complex design of the compiler present in CISC, many addressing modes causing complex instruction formats. Few addressing modes fixed instruction format that is present in the RISC. Instruction length is variable. Instruction length varies. High clock cycle per seconds in CISC, low clock cycles per second in RISC. Emphasis is in hardware, emphasis that is in software in RISC. Control unit implements larger instruction set using microprogram unit. Each in CISC, RISC, each instruction is to be executed by hardware. Then in CISC, slower execution as instructions are to be read from the memory and decoded by the decoder unit. But in RISC, it is faster execution. As each instruction in CISC is to be executed by hardware, pipelining is not possible. But in RISC, pipelining of instruction is possible, considering single clock cycles. So these are the few comparison between the CISC and RISC. These are most important for the design and developing task. And nowadays, the embedded system, they are utilizing the RISC processors because as you are already familiar about this, then RISC it is a reduced instruction set, fast execution and also required minimum amount of time. These are the major advantages for users. So in this way, RISC is more popular as compared to CISC. Then we are compare the basic concept of the architecture, Von Neumann architecture and Harvard architecture. Single memory to be shared by both code as well as data. In Harvard architecture, separate memories for code and data. So processors needs to be fetch code in separate clock cycles and data in another clock cycles. So it is requires 2 clock cycles, but it is required single clock cycles, Harvard architectures, as separate buses are used to access code and data. Higher speed, thus less time consuming, slower in speed, then thus more time consuming, simple in design, that is in complex. So these are the differences of Von Neumann architecture as well as Harvard architecture. So both the architectures should be utilized. Then we are compare these architectures. Then Harvard architectures as shown in the figure. This is a program ROM. Then control space is there. The data address as well as the control pins are there. Instruction decode, program counter stack, then processors and registers interface, data address and control, and provide the register space. This is the hardware architecture. According to this architecture, we have to enter the code and observe the results. So these are the Harvard architecture Then we are going to further steps, hardware as well as software system. How this architecture contains ASIP or ASIC IC unit, and processor, core processors is there, then memory is there. In case of memory, ROM, RAM, then cake memory, everything is present. Then another part of this hardware is analog input as well as output. Similarly, digital input as well as output. These are total 5 parts. We are familiar about this. This is known as a hardware and software systems. So by utilizing these, then we can write the program and instruction sets. Then basic structure of an embedded system. The embedded system usually contains the following parts. What are those parts and how we can utilize these tools? Are as shown in the diagram. So sensor is the first part. What is the function of the sensor? Sensor which sends the information, whatever the physical phenomenon which is to be converted into electrical signal. It is in the form of analog signal. Then what happens after the conversion of these information into electrical signal? Then that is transferred to the A to D converter. A to D means analog to digital converter. What it does, whatever the analog information which is to be sampling and quantization, then that process it does inside, then it is converted into digital. That digital output which is processed through the processor and ASIC. Afterwards what happens, after the processing, whatever the analog information which is to be converted in the digital form, next I want the same information. What I will do, further I am going to digital to analog. After this conversion, some percentage of error is there, but after the conversion, D to A converter, we will get a original information as the output. So in this case, it is further actually encoding and decoding. This is the decoding process, D to A converter. Then that is to be converted in the form of analogo. Analogo means a continuous sine wave which is to be proceeded. Then that way passes through the actuator. Actuator are the major important stimulator of the input and output, just like a controller. It is like a feedback to the input. So activator activates the input and output informations. Then a further important step is memory. Memory means there are several types of memory. Memory major function is to store the information. Then you can access the information anywhere from this. So these are the major important parts in the basic structure of an embedded system. So we are proceeding to the next step, microprocessor versus microcontroller. Earlier we are talking about the microprocessor. Nowadays what happens, instead of microprocessor, why not we are using the microcontroller? What are the utilization or what are the advantages of microcontroller? Microprocessor is the general purpose assembly level language. So it requires the huge amount of data and minimum amount of delay will be more in microprocessor. So microcontroller limited set of instruction as well as particular applications it is useful. Microcontroller, there are several types of microcontrollers are there, namely 8-bit microprocessor, 16-bit microprocessors, so on. So microcontrollers are utilized for the specific applications only. But microprocessor, it is a general purpose computing device, assembly level language. So microprocessor are multitasking in nature, can perform multiple tasks at a time. For example, on a computer we can play music while writing text editor. Then single task oriented, for example, microcontroller is a single task oriented. For example, a washing machine is designed for washing clothes only. RAM, ROM and input-output ports and timers can be added externally and can vary in numbers. And in case of RAM, ROM and input output ports and timers cannot be added externally in case of microprocessor. So another major advantage for these components are to be embedded together on a chip and are fixed in the number. So once you construct that microcontroller, that should be fixed, that is embedded together on a chip and are fixed in numbers. Designers can decide the number of memory or input output ports needed. Fixed number for memory or input output makes a microcontroller ideal for a limited but specific applications. So these are the major advantages for microprocessor and the microcontroller. So in this case we can utilize this microcontroller and microprocessor. We can design several issues. For example, several applications at present that is available, that should be in microcontroller base. So many things are executed. You are already familiar. So many toys as well as remote control of cars. Even in automobile industries, they are prepared the microcontroller instead of microprocessor. So these are the very limited number of examples. External support of external memory and input output ports make a microprocessor based system heavier and costlier. So microcontroller are lightweight and cheaper than a microprocessor. These are the major advantage because the peoples nowadays required, they are trying to invest very small amount and they expected the large output. So it is possible in case of microcontroller only. It is not possible in microprocessor. Hence, external device requires more space and their power consumption is higher. A microcontroller based system consumes less power and takes less space. See, these are the most important difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. So we can proceeding to the another important devices such as compiler and assemblers. As you know familiar, what is compiler? Compiler which is compiles the one form of information into another form. For example, you can enter in English like structures. C compiler, what it does, it converted into machine language. Then computer is understood only machine language. So that is the major job of the compiler. Then in assembler directly you cannot convert. The high level language it is possible to convert in binary, but assembler you cannot convert the codes directly into binary. What we will do, we are using the cross compiler. Cross compiler, what it does, first it converts high level language, hexadecimal number systems. Then afterwards it is converted into number system. Afterwards it converted in binary. So processor takes place. Then it creates the object file. These are the major job in case of cross compiler. The cross compiler are useful for only assembly level language, while converting assembly language into binary form. That's why we are using the cross compiler. Then another important parameter for this is decompiler. What is compilation? You will get a different form of number system. Decompiler means what? Exactly reverse process of this, that is decompiler. After decompiler we will get a original information, and then it is reverse, it is converted into the original information. Then you will observe the results in your languages or in your format. So that is known as a decompiler. Then another important parameter for this is language converter. Language converter, you are already familiar. So many converting systems also there. You can convert and translate one level language into another level language. For example, I am converting assembly level language into binary, binary into assembly level language. So these are types of conversions or takes place, which is known as language converter. Then assemblers are most important. MASM, macro, assemblers are there, that is also converted the by hexadecimal number system into the binary. So these assemblers are most important for the computer can understood about the binary information. And another important tool for microcontroller is debugging tool. Debugging is the process of eliminating the errors in the program. When you will found this, first you are not understood. First you compile it, afterwards you create the object file by using the cross compiling method. Then object file is created, afterwards you have to debug whatever the errors are there. It will give the instruction in which line error is occurs. You go through that line and remove that error, whatever the mistake. Then you can proceeding to the next steps. So the debugging tools is an embedded system. It is most important tools for eliminating the errors in the programs. So simulator is also most important because we can process both hardware as well as the software. Circuit simulation is most important. Circuit simulation we can converted into the program format. So at that time simulation is most important. The whatever the physical phenomenon we can convert it in the form of software information. At that time simulator is most important. And microcontroller starter kit, it is also most important. In a starter kit we are familiar about how to start and how to stop the microcontroller. These are all the phenomenon we should understood. Then emulator, same as emulator, simulator and emulator are does the same process. It is also for eliminating the errors in case of microcontroller programs. So these are the most important tools and techniques for embedded system, microcontroller as well as the embedded systems. Then we are proceeding one by one. Block diagram of 8051 is like this. Actually these are the basic block diagram. Interrupt controller and 4-key ROM, then IO ports, bus control and serial port. But in our system ARM processors are useful, but it is a fundamental block diagram for a microcontroller. You should familiar about this type of basic microcontroller block diagram. Then it is very easy to understand about the ARM processors. Then ARM processor is mostly useful for low consumption ARM processors. ARM processors contains so many components. Then program counter is there. Program counter, which is most important rule to execute the programs. Then vectors, reset vectors are present in case of ARM processors. Stack pointer is also familiar in case of ARM processor. Stack is nothing but a collection of information in another form of the memory. Whenever the subroutine or subprograms you are writing, at that time you store the information in the form of stack. Afterwards you can call another memory. It is we can call and execute in the main programs. That is useful for the stack pointer. Then finite and infinite loops. There are interrupts. There are several types of interrupts are there. Then we can proceeding to embedded system hardware. Embedded systems, we can utilize these tools for interrupt. There are several types of maskable and non-maskable interrupts are there. Then you can use current program status registers also there. There are two types of interrupt, maskable as well as non-maskable interrupts. Then embedded system hardware. Then ARM bus technology is there. So it is ARM bus technology is useful for design and development of the ARM technologies. Then another technology is developed for AMBA bus technology. We know that in PC peripherals such as video controller, hard disk controller are connected externally to the processor chip using PC, but technology, then peripheral components interconnected. This bus connected device has video cards and hard disk controller to the 8086 processor bus. So embedded device use different bus technologies. Since peripheral devices are the part of embedded devices, they use an on-chip bus. The on-chip bus allows different peripheral devices to be interconnected with an ARM core. There are two different classes of device attached, bus master and bus slave. Bus master in the ARM processor core is a bus master. It is a logical device capable of initiating the data transfer with another device across the same bus. And bus slave, peripherals are the bus slaves. They are capable only of responding to the transfer request from a bus master device. ARM bus has two architecture level. First one is physical level and protocol levels. The physical level specifies the electrical characteristics and bus width 16, 32 or 64 bits. And the protocol level deals with logical rules that govern the communication between the processor and the peripherals. This is the ARM bus technology. And AMBA bus protocol. AMBA bus protocol standards advanced bus architecture. It was introduced in 1996. It has been widely adopted as the on-chip bus architecture used for ARM processors. ARM system bus, ARM peripheral bus were the first buses introduced by the AMBA. Later, ARM introduced another bus design called the ARM High Performance Bus, short form AHB. Then ASB is based on bidirectional bus schemes. On the other hand, AHB is based on a centralized multiplexed bus schemes. Because of this change, AHB provides higher data throughput, allows AHB bus to run at higher clock speed, and support bus width of 64 and 128 bits. There are two versions of AHB bus. Then first one is multi-layer AHB and second one is AHB Lite. Multi-layer AHB bus allows multiple active bus masters. On the other hand, AHB Lite is subset of AHB bus and it's limited to a single bus master. Then AHB Lite and multi-layer AHB supports the same protocol for master and slaves. However, they have different interconnects. The newly added interconnects in multi-layer AHB are: number one, designed for system with multiple processors, permit operations to occur in parallel. Third one is allow higher throughput rates. In general, AHB bus is used high performance peripherals and APB bus is used for slower peripherals. For external peripherals, the specialized bridge is used to connect with AHB bus. So these are the important points in case of AMBA bus protocol. We are proceeding to the next, that is memory. Memory, generally you are already familiar. What is memory? What is the use of memory? Memory is a device which stores the information. Information may be binary or anything else. It stores the information. First one is ROM. ROM means read-only memory. ARM-based embedded systems use ROM, read-only memories, to hold boot code. Then there are several types of RAMs are there. Flash ROM is there. It is read bar write memory, but it is not fast enough to use it for holding dynamic data. Therefore, it is mainly used for holding the device firmware or storing long-term data that needs to be preserved after power is off. The erasing and writing of flash ROM do not require any additional hardware circuit and are completely software controlled. This reduces the manufacturing cost. Flash ROMs are currently being used as an alternative for mass or secondary storage. And dynamic RAM access means dynamic random access memory. It is the most commonly used RAM per device. It is the cheapest memory, however, it needs to be refreshed after every few milliseconds. Static RAM access memory SRAMs is there. It is faster than the DRAM, but it requires more silicon area. It does not require refreshing. Because of its higher cost, it is used mostly for smaller high speed tasks such as fast memory and cakes. Then the then you can compare the static RAM and dynamic RAM. You can compare one into another. Static RAM contains less memory cells per unit area, but dynamic RAM contains more memory cells. Then it has a less access time, hence faster memories. The access time is greater than static RAM. Static RAM consists of number of flip-flops. Each flip-flop stores one bit. Dynamic RAM stores the data as the charge on the capacitor. It consists of MOSFET and the capacitor for each cell. Refreshing circuitry is not required. In static RAM, refreshing circuit not necessary, but in dynamic RAM, refreshing circuit is required to maintain the charge on the capacitor. After every few milliseconds, extra hardware is required to control refreshing hardware required to control the design complete. Similarly, DRAM and SRAM also there, peripherals are there. Then embedded system software, it contains system software. It is another important criteria. It contains application, operating system, initialization, device driver, hardware, devices. Embedded system contains applications. So typically 4 software abstraction levels are used to control the embedded system. First one is initialization code. It is the first code executed on the board. It configures the essential parts of the board before handing control over the operating system. Usually it is a firmware, a software program or set of instruction programming on hardware device like ROM. Device drivers, the software that directly interface with the control embedded system hardware is called a device driver. Different types of hardwares will be of different device drivers requirements that need to be met. Then operating system. An embedded operating system is a type of operating system that is embedded and specially configured for a certain hardware configuration. It provides an infrastructure to control applications and manage hardware system resources. Application. It performs one of the tasks required for a device. There may be multiple applications running on the same device. Applications cannot run on itself, but they are dependent on the operating system. So the booting system and procedure for this embedded system software, initialization code reset state to state where the operating system takes the control. It usually configures the interrupt controller, memory controller, processor, cake, initializing some devices. So another important task handled by initialization code can be grouped into 3 phases: initial hardware configuration, diagnostics and booting. And initial hardware configuration, it involves setting up target platform. Target platform consists of processors, memory, input output and runtime environment. Then diagnostics, code check whether the target system hardware is working properly. Diagnostic tests involve checking of processors, processor registers, memory system, interrupt system and other peripherals. The main purpose of diagnostics code is a fault identification before the start of the system. Booting. It is a process or a set of operations that loads and hence starts the operating system. Booting involves loading an image, copying an entire program including code and data into the RAM. Once booted, the system hands over control by modifying the program counter to point into the start of the image. Sometimes to reduce the image size, and the image is compressed, the image is then decompressed. Then operating systems, embedded operating system is a type of operating system, specific design configurations. It organizes the system resources like peripherals, memory and processing. Various systems supported by ARM processor have two main categories: real-time operating system and platform operating systems. RTOS and hard RTOS and soft RTOS, several types of real-time operating systems are there. Then another important criteria for this is what are the major features of ARM processor. ARM processor is most important. What are the features? ARM microcontroller are follows. Consists of a large uniform register file. Supports load store architecture. Uses simple addressing modes. Contain reduced number of instructions. Instruction perform simple but powerful operations. Uniform and fixed length of 32-bit instruction field. Each instruction is a fixed length. It allows the pipeline to fetch the instruction before decoding the current instructions. In contrast, process contains the instructions of variable size, complex and take more to execute. So in CISC, complexity is in processor hardware, whereas RISC complexity is in compiler. Uniform and fixed length instruction field, simply the instruction decoding. Most instructions have 3 address instruction format. Next important feature is does not use delayed branch, since they make exception handling more complex. Does not use register windows to keep chip area small, and hence the cost is also small. It has control over both arithmetic logic unit and shifter. Barrel shifters are there in every data processing instructions to maximize and use of ALU and shifter. Supports automatic increment and automatic decrement addressing modes to optimize the program loops. Supports load and store multiple instructions to maximize the data throughput. Supports condition execution of all instructions to maximize execution throughput. These enhancements to a basic RISC architecture allow ARM processors to achieve a good balance of high performance, low code size, low power consumption and low silicon area. So these are the features of ARM processor. Next we are proceeding ARM core data. You observe this diagram. This is a basic diagram of ARM core data model. It contains the following: register bank and ALU is there, memory unit is there, input output devices. So these are the ARM core data flow model. Then you observe this ARM processor. These are the fixed register bank. You observe this R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, R8, R9, R10, 12. Up to these are general. Then we are using specific R13 and R14 and R15. R13 for main stack pointer or process stack pointer. Then this is link register R14. Then R15 is used for program counter. These are useful for, this is the major diagram for register bank and program model. Then CPSR means current program status register. What are the interrupts are there? How many interrupts are there? Total how many bits are present? 32-bit fixed size. Then register. A register contains, these are the flags. Then 0 flag, carry flag, then negative flag is there. Then variable flags. These are the types of flags are there. Then these are the conditional flags. Then interrupts are also there. Maskable and non-maskable interrupts also there at present in this CPSR block. Flags, status, extension and control. There are several modes are controlling: mode 0, mode 1 and mode 2, mode 3. 4 modes are operating. Then processor modes. Then another important programming model, how it is present. program, the complete ARM register set. Then R0 to R15 we are providing specific. Then post interrupt request R8, R9, R10, R11, R12, R13, and R14. These are the post interrupt request and interrupt request. Supervisor, undefined, abort. R13 and R14 are abort mode. So likewise, the architecture or register bank is present in ARM register set. So you can proceeding to the ARM instruction in the form it supports the pipelining. It may be 5 stage, 3 stage, 4 stage, whatever it may be. Instructions while other instructions are being decoded and executed. ARM 7 3 stage pipeline, fetch, decode and execute. ARM 5 stage fetch, decode, execute, memory and write. ARM 6 stage fetch, issues, decode, execute, memory, write. So likewise the number of stages are increases, the execution speed is increases. Simultaneously delay is reduces. So cycles you can represent at cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. These are the pipeline instruction sequence. So with the help of time you can observe the results. So exception, interrupts and coupled memory. Cake tightly coupled memory at present in case of microcontroller and ARM processor. The cake is a block of memory placed between main memory and core. It allows for more efficient information fetches from some memories. ARM has two form of cakes, simplified Van Neumann architecture with cake. So these are the ARM core, unified logic controller, AMBA bus interface, link, on chip, AMBA bus. So these are the exception, interrupts and coupled memories. So next we will continue in next class. Thank you.